Ladies and gentlemen, boys and ghouls, step right up. Behind this curtain lies a ghastly concoction of delight, horror, fantasy, and terror. Your every wish is our command, your every whimsical desire brought to life. But I'm warning you, there's always a price. Welcome to the greatest show on Earth! Dark Carnival is in town, you'd better be ready, just follow the parade of dancing skeletons full of ghoulish delights around every corner. Don't tell your parents you're here, they will soon be mourners. Welcome to the lower berth, the greatest show on earth. We appear without a sound, the darkest show around. We will leave you in a daze, madness, murder, dismay. We will disappear at night with blood upon the concrete. I will be your ticket taker, come inside, it's a dream. Enter the fun house of mirrors, no one can hear you scream. We can supply anything that your heart desires, but the consequences will surely be dire. To the lower berth, the greatest show on earth. We appear without a sound, the darkest show around. We will leave you in a daze, madness, murder, dismay. We will disappear at night with blood upon the concrete. Come inside for the ride, your deepest, darkest fears. The best night of your life, you're never leaving here. The unknown, the unseen is what you're gonna find. Witness this, witness that, until you lose your mind. Welcome to the lower berth, the greatest show on earth. We appear without a sound, the darkest show around. We will leave you in a daze, madness, murder, dismay. We will disappear at night with blood upon the concrete. People were able to hear you just fine, but they weren't hearing me at all. This is the fucking second stream this week. That's actually why I shit-canned the first episode of the Castlevania stream, believe it or not. Because my mic was off for like 75% of the stream.
Oh.
I was pissed.
Yeah, but dude, you gotta do these checks before you start streaming.
Yeah, I usually do. The thing is, OBS has this really, really weird thing where sometimes if you unplug your mic after closing the program, as long as you plug it back in before opening OBS again, you're good. And sometimes, no, fuck you. I'm not going to detect your mic even though you plugged it back in beforehand. I swear, OBS is the worst streaming software. Like, the only thing that OBS has going for it at this point is its versatility and the amount of plugins you can install on it. Twitch's streaming software actually has a cool feature where you can actually see your chat as you're playing the game. OBS doesn't do that. Wish it did.
Yeah, that sounds really nice.
Yeah, made it really easy to keep up with chat. Back then, I didn't have. Back when I was using that, I didn't have to have my phone on my desk open to the chat. Yeah, I know I mentioned it on the Silent Hill stream with Rinny on Friday night. I have been having a blast with this new handheld emulator that I got. Funny story about this one though. This one actually was going to use parts from Qualcomm, which is what brought it to my attention.
But it didn't.
Yeah, it was originally called the KTR-1 Qualcomm, and it was going to use a Snapdragon processor. So there was a distinct possibility that I could have contributed to this thing's creation as a software tester. Yeah. And it came at just the right time too, because the battery in my old handheld it's weird. It's about half as powerful as what it used to be, and it's finicky with charging. It'll like charge to 50%, and then the orange charging light will start flickering, meaning it's actually draining. So what you have to do is babysit the damn thing and unplug it and replug it after turning it off and on again.
That sounds really that kind of sounds like my old computer. Almost.
Oh, you know what? Funny story about that. This week, I had to deal with my computer not turning on a couple times.
Oh.
Well, I booted into Windows, I logged in, and I got a black screen. And I'm just like, fuck, not this again.
That's not good.
It happened 3 times in a row, and this is one of the side effects of running Tron on your computer, is every now and then you'll have, after running Tron on your computer, you'll have these instances where it looks like you have less storage on your computer than you do, and you'll have like one day where it'll take some finagling to turn on, but then after that it's smooth sailing. That's why I don't like running Tron unless I absolutely have to.
What's Tron for again?
Tron is what killed the rootkit.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
How come you haven't installed it yet then? Because like you don't have a rootkit anymore.
Because you never know.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what you could do though? You could actually have the program on like some kind of
a USB
device.
drive. Yeah, I've actually thought about that. The problem is I have so many USB drives in my desk drawer that I'd lose which one it's in.
Just label it, dude.
Why didn't I think of that?
I don't know. Why didn't you think of that?
I don't know. Maybe
that's what I.
Maybe I'm dumb.
How many USB drives do you have?
I have 1, 2 that are dedicated micro SD and SD readers. I have 1 that's a Bluetooth dongle for a 8-bit for a wireless Super Nintendo controller. I have 1 in here that has Game Dev Tycoon on it. I do not know why I have Game Dev Tycoon on a USB drive. Oh no, you know what? I remember now. My brother pirated Game Dev Tycoon, gave me a copy, and so I just have that on here now.
So let me get this shit. You have all these USB drives and all these different functions and stuff, and none of them are labeled? I mean, if that were the case, how do you know which is what?
Because I only have 1 that I've actually used for storage. All of the other ones are readers or adapters of some sort.
Wow. I didn't even know you could use USBs in that manner.
Yeah, USB is just the attachment that plugs into your computer. It's not the storage device itself.
So aside from the one you use from storage, do any of those? Oh, that's right. They're just So it's not just like storage device. They're just things that you happen to plug into a USB slot.
Exactly.
Oh, okay, so kind of like my wired mouse, for example.
Yeah, but this.
Okay,
But yeah, the Tron on a USB drive is not a bad idea. I might do that actually.
Yeah, if it's that big of an issue, you probably should.
There is one thing though.
What's that?
When I had the rootkit on my computer, it had actually made itself administrator, and I was unable to I was unable to change files or delete files. So, if I ever get infected again, I would if it ever got to that point, I would probably have to re-download it directly to my desktop, because for Tron to run correctly, it has to be on your desktop. I was able to move stuff on and off of USB drives. I wonder how infected I would have to be for that to not be possible. Because I have seen that happen before with other people's computers. And, I saw those because one of my friends was a guy who worked at, Staples. And they had basically a Geek Squad of their own there. And I went with a friend of mine who had a really infected computer to my other friend who worked at Staples, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, I'm really sorry, but this is a bad case. There's like maybe a 10% chance we can salvage this." Thankfully, it worked. They were able to salvage the computer, sort of. It effectively was starting back from scratch. So, dude was smart enough to back up all of his stuff. And thankfully his backup didn't get contaminated, but he had to run the restore program, essentially. That computer was out of commission for like a week.
Oh, wow. He didn't need it for work, did he?
Yes, he did. He did. And he had a rinky-dink, notebook that he used as a backup until the real laptop was, back in action, essentially.
So was this like a dedicated work computer, or was this a personal computer he was using for work?
It was a dedicated work laptop that doubled as his personal computer.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not exactly best practice, but some people you can only afford one machine.
I would not be able to deal with my work computer just because there's so much like bloatware and security stuff on there. It'd be impossible to use as a personal computer. But thankfully, I've also had my own personal computer since really the last year of college, so... No, that's not true. I've had one since the start of college, but I upgraded, like I said, I changed computers nearly halfway through college, so... the one I have now is not the one I started with.
Ah!
Yeah, the one I started with was kind of weird. It only had 6 gigabytes of storage. It did not have a dedicated gaming graphics card, and it even had a disk drive.
Jeez.
Yeah, when I showed my friends the disk drive, they were shocked. I'm like, how do you have a computer in 2020 with a disk drive?
I know, right? That's awesome. I know that not a lot of computers nowadays have those, but I actually like having a disk drive because I like to rip DVDs.
You know, I never thought of it that way. I never ran a disk on there, so I don't even know if it worked or not, to be honest.
Yeah, it'll probably work. But yeah, no, this new handheld of mine, I am blown away by it. Did you know that this thing is powerful enough to run GameCube games?
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. And it just makes me laugh because I remember watching the videos of people who had made, like, handheld GameCube systems that were solely for playing GameCube emulation. They weren't for anything else. And those things would keep catching on fire. So it really shows just how far we've come with the technological progression. Obviously, the battery doesn't last as long if you're doing heavy emulation like GameCube, but even then, 3 hours of portable GameCube play is really impressive. Actually, I didn't even bother to time it. I was playing Luigi's Mansion and One Piece Grand Adventure GameCube titles, and I was on, like, I started at like 20%, and I got down to 5 before I'm like, you know what, this is taking too long to kill the battery entirely, I'm just gonna charge it at 5%, fuck it.
Oh, you were trying to get to 0?
Yeah, I was. I wanted to see how intensive the battery usage on the GameCube is. And you can play the GameCube for a really long time on that thing. Because I started at 20 and I ended at 5, meaning I used 15% battery, and I think I had that running for the better part of, like, an hour? Maybe 2 hours?
That's funny. That's actually better than most Switches.
I know, right? This thing is This thing is an absolute unit, and I absolutely love it. I'm probably going to send my dad the old one. I've already told him about the issues that it has, and he's like, it's alright, I'm used to it. I have an Ambernic too. Although the one that he has isn't as powerful as the one I previously was using. So that's gonna be cool.
Oh, so it'll be over for him then.
Yeah, yeah. I actually got one for Omen too as a birthday present last year, and God, I told him that I figured out how to like personalize devices, so like set up custom backgrounds, set custom sound alerts for when you first power on the device. So you know what he had me do with it?
What's that?
He put a stained glass Nazi image as his fucking background, and every time it starts up, the Führer's yelling at him.
Oh no.
Yeah. I'd be mad, but it's honestly pretty funny in like a super messed up kind of way.
Bro, that'd be like if you started off your handheld, but instead it was playing like the USSR national anthem.
I know, right? Imagine boots up Mario and Luigi, and the first thing you hear is "Do you want total war?" yelled in in German. I can't do the Hitler impression, unfortunately. So I just know the quote is something totalen Krieg. But yeah, fucking juxtaposition right there.
Man, Germany's such a weird country. You know the history of that nation, and it's like the most bizarre thing you'd ever read. Like, remember back when it was the Holy Roman Empire?
Yeah, the Holy Roman Empire was a fucking shit show. Mostly because it wasn't holy, it wasn't Roman, and it wasn't really an empire, just a confederation of territories.
Then why the fuck would they call it the Holy Roman Empire?
Because the end goal was basically to recreate the Roman Empire under the control of the Pope, and the Pope would basically anoint its emperors. It didn't really get any. It did not achieve its goal, though.
I can tell because that's partially how we got Germany and the other Central European states.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, come to think of it, Italy wouldn't be Italy if, like, the HRE experiment had succeeded.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. Have you ever seen the videos put out by History Oversimplified on YouTube?
I don't think I have.
Oh man, I really recommend his content. He's really good at like covering historical events, and his content is really funny. His video about the War of the Bucket is basically a 45-minute history lesson on the Holy Roman Empire, and then a 15-minute explanation of why this one town stole this other town's bucket.
What?
Yeah, no. During the War of the Bucket, this one town showed up to the town of Bologna. I can't remember the other town, and they took the fucking bucket from their well. And mind you, this was at a time where wells were kind of going out of fashion. The town just really liked that well and that bucket, and the other town that didn't like Bologna fucking stole it.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and that town that stole the bucket, they now keep it in a special, like, display in an exhibit in one of their buildings. It's still there to this fucking day. And if you ask about the bucket, they're like, yes, come see the bucket. This is the bucket that we took from the town of Bologna. And, conversely, don't mention the bucket to the town of Bologna. They are still bent out of shape about it.
Bro, that'd be like, oh my god, that'd be like if like Canada invaded the US, they stole Plymouth Rock, and they just had it like stuffed in a box somewhere.
Pretty much, yeah. Although, I'm not gonna throw too much shit at either side, because I know all too well that if that sort of thing happened between Canada and the US, it'd be the same dynamic. Shit, Canada still talks mad shit about burning down the White House in the War of 1812.
That was them?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I thought it was the British.
No. The fucking Canadians. It was the Leafs. The Leafs burned down the White House.
Oh, well, that explains a lot.
Yeah.
Actually, it would be fascinating. I think if the US had succeeded in taking over Canada from the British, it's very likely that we would not have expanded westward into the Pacific.
You might be right, but I kind of think that the western expansion was a foregone conclusion.
do you think that even after getting Canada, we'd still try to? I mean, we technically with the Louisiana Purchase, we had access to the West Coast through the Washington part of the area. But do you think we would have gone as far as to take back the northern half of Mexico if we owned Canada, like the land of Canada?
Yes, and here's why. Manifest Destiny as a concept wasn't like it didn't just become a thing around the time of the westward expansion. It was a like really early idea in U.S. history that we would expand from one side of the continent to the other. If I'm remembering my history class correctly. Um, and even if we had taken Canada, that still wouldn't provide very much room for habitable land, because you gotta remember that most of Canada is unpopulated. It's so inhospitably cold up there that I think something like 10% of it, 10 to 15% of it is populated.
Yeah, I can tell. Most people in Canada they live just a couple miles north of the U.S. border.
Yeah. So if we had taken that one portion of Canada, I think we still would have expanded all the way to the west. It wouldn't have provided much in the way of land resources that was habitable. And from what I remember reading, that was the big motivator for us expanding west, was basically there was not enough land to meet demand, so they're like, fuck it, we're gonna go get more land. We're gonna go west.
I mean, that's part of the reason a lot of people came to the colonies in the first place was to gain, but because back in Britain, there wasn't enough places for homes and stuff, so people went west to gain land and to build their families.
Right. It's too bad there's not enough, it's too bad there's not new land we can go and get now. Solve
True,
the
but
fucking
there is a
housing
lot of.
crisis.
Well, yeah. The funny thing is, I would argue at least with the west, if you go west of the Mississippi, there's a lot of land out there that could be converted into homes, but is not because it's owned by the federal government.
That too. And boomers haven't helped the problem either. I have found out that basically the reason the housing market is so damn expensive is because a lot of the elderly voters raise a stink about it whenever affordable housing gets built, because it devalues their homes.
Mm-hmm. And some people are still like living in like starter homes they bought like 30 years ago. Well, partially because they can't afford to upgrade. That's kind of true of my own parents. The house I live in is actually a starter home, but what's the phrase? But basically, we weren't able to like upgrade. I think we're still paying this house off. Actually, I'm not entirely sure, but it's either mostly paid off or we're pretty close to it. But there's that as well, which I can sympathize with because everyone's a little bit different in their finances. But there are a lot of people out there who definitely could afford to upgrade, but just choose not to for whatever reason.
Yeah. Well, part of the thing, the housing market, everything is getting more expensive. We're actually due for a housing market crash.
Again?
Oh, yes. Because of how ungodly overvalued it is. And here's the thing. Nobody's buying new houses.
Well, nobody's building new houses either.
Exactly. No, but here's
It's
the
like
thing.
it's so
People
funny because
are...
like there's this huge demand for
Now is not a good time to sell your house because the price of housing is actually going down now. And I think this is the tipping of the first domino, essentially.
Ooh.
And honestly, I'd say a housing market crash could only be a good thing. It's been so cartoonishly overinflated that the housing market needs to bottom out.
Exactly. I mean, you combine the fact that so many people have a lot of debt, it's just making them less likely to buy a home. I mean, for Pete's sake, the only reason Brett Cooper was able to buy a house like this past April, and she had been house hunting for several months by that point. Part of the reason she got it was because of the fact that she had like $0 in student loan debt. So it just made it a lot easier for her to like finance that properly. But she also had to compete with like young couple. She had to compete with family. She had to compete with people who typically are more likely to get a home than like a single person because typically they don't really sell to single people even if they're in their 20s and stuff. That's just how that works. So there's that. Also, I was stalking on Twitter. I found this chart that showed the salary need to buy a home in 50 large U.S. cities. Keep in mind, roughly two-thirds of the population lives in a major city, and for most cases, it's around a six-figure salary range. Like, there's only a handful of places where I could afford to buy a house as a single person with my current salary.
Yeah. And you want to know why another reason housing is so expensive? It's
Why is
because
that?
BlackRock is buying up affordable housing and turning them into rental units.
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, BlackRock. If anything ever gave Omen a case for his views, it'd be BlackRock.
Well, they're not exactly doing themselves any. Actually, did you hear that? Wait, did we talk about how they went back on like the woke stuff, or was that like a while ago? I don't remember.
I don't know if we actually addressed that on the podcast. I do know that BlackRock is abandoning ESG, but that's not enough to absolve them of their sins, believe you me. BlackRock is incredibly fucking greasy, even aside from the ESG nonsense. They have worked with the Chinese government on surveillance technologies. They've invested in the affordable housing to turn into rental units. They are basically if they're not directly linked with the World Economic Forum, they're certainly like working towards they certainly seem to be working towards the same goal, where they just want to make everything unaffordable for everyone else and like squeeze every penny out of everyone else. BlackRock is evil.
Wow, an evil corporation. Who would have guessed it actually exists?
Well, I mean, no corporation is meant to be a moral actor. It's meant to make money. The problem is, BlackRock is so egregious with what it's done that it's like, it's impossible to justify even that. Because, like, don't get me wrong. BlackRock getting, like, dissolved, if BlackRock was just nationalized overnight or dissolved or its resources, whatever, doesn't matter. BlackRock's gone. Let's just say somebody fucking nuked it. I nuked it. I nuked BlackRock. Yes, a lot of people would be out of work. They could find jobs at other companies. There's plenty of skeevy investing firms that'll hire people for that sort of thing. I honestly don't know how different the world would be if BlackRock didn't exist, but I do know it would be a little bit nicer.
Of course.
I once said that if I could get away with bombing BlackRock, I absolutely would. I don't know if I still hold by that sentiment, but...
Oh, careful, Seth. We are on Twitch. You don't want to make any hasty threats.
Yeah. Well, it's not a threat. It's more of it's more of me analyzing, like, dumb things I've said in the past. It's like... It's an interesting spot to be in, though. Because it's like, I'm generally against government regulation, but holy fuck does BlackRock make a case for it.
You know what else makes a case for regulation?
Dating apps?
You know what's so funny? I was having a conversation with my mom just earlier today where she's like, hey, because we were talking about like a wedding, because my sister works for a catering company that caters to weddings, and one of the weddings she went to was a couple who met on, like, I think it was Christian Mingle, I think was called?
Yeah! Fucking Christian Mingle! They're almost as old as eHarmony.
Yeah, and then I was like, hey, have you tried those dating apps? And I go, nah, I'm not a dating app person. Those things don't really work. She goes, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It didn't work out past there.
Dating apps are fucking cancer. They, like, 80%, 80% of the women are only interested in the top 20% of men on the app.
Yeah, it's so funny. All those commercials, especially from Tinder, are like, oh, I found my perfect love on there. And I'm like, that's like maybe like, what, 10% of matches, maybe less than that? And here's the thing with these apps, right?
I would say a tenth of 1%.
Yeah, you're right. That's more accurate. No, but that's the funny part, though, right? It's like these apps don't make money off relationships because as soon as the person's married, unless it's like an open relationship situation, they're out of the market. They're done. They're not coming back.
Do you want to know something really fucked up that Tinder will do?
What's that?
Tinder will unmatch people if they talk too much and don't exchange phone numbers.
Really?
Yeah. Tinder is fucking evil. I don't know if they're more or less evil than BlackRock, but they're also on my list. Well,
Well,
actually, Match Group,
considering,
because Match Group owns. Did you know that Did you know that 80% of dating apps are owned by one company?
yeah, wasn't that Match Group?
Yep, Match Group.
Yeah, I think Christian Mingle's owned by them too, right?
Yeah, and I think they bought eHarmony a while ago, which would explain why eHarmony now has that nickel and dime fucking microtransaction ass bullshit that Tinder does.
They put microtransactions in a dating app?
Yeah, dude, have you not been on Tinder at all?
No, I
Not
don't.
even out of curiosity.
No, I don't use dating apps, bro.
Okay, you're wise to do that, but I guess this is where I have to know our enemy. Yeah, they put microtransactions in our dating apps, dude. You gotta pay for, like, viewability to show up in other
Yeah,
people's match feed. You
yeah,
pay to message people. You pay to fucking get more matches. And you pay
I can
even
do
more
that,
for a subscription if you're over 30 and you're a dude.
bro. I can
Outside
do
of
that stuff for
California.
free. You can do that for free on literally every other app that isn't dating
Mm,
focused.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, don't you, Irving? You know I'm right. You know I'm right.
I thought, as soon as you said that isn't dating related, then I'm like, oh, okay. Because I was gonna say, it's like so many dating apps do that now, though. OkCupid, Hinge, Tinder, shit, even Bumble, which isn't owned by Match Group, which don't use Bumble. Bumble is just feminist Tinder. It's still cancer.
No surprises there. Hey,
Um,
you know what's funny though? I actually managed to get a date without using a dating app.
dude, nice! Congratulations, man!
Yeah, it's a funny story actually. So what had happened was, for those that don't know, I joined a DealWire Discord server a while back, and one of the channels was called Singles Link. I wasn't really sure what it was. It just kind of sat there, but I'm like, you know what? Let's just hop on here and see what's there. So I hop in, and as soon as I get there, I get a couple hellos. I go through the profile, and it was already looking kind of grim because, as I was suspecting, most of the people who were on there were dudes that were looking for links, which is not a bad thing. But the problem I've been noticing, specifically on the right, is there is a huge number of conservative men looking for relationships, but like only a handful of women are equally as conservative. Most of them are fairly liberal, which, and especially this day and age with our
Yeah.
climate, that's not as feasible. And there were two people I messaged on that app because, and all they both said hi to me. The first one seemed interesting. We chatted for a little bit. That one didn't work out though because she was actually old enough to be my mother. Because she was in her early late 30s, early 40s, so that wasn't
Oof.
gonna work.
No.
The other one was honestly like leagues better. Like her intro alone was pretty solid. So basically, she's only a year younger than me. She's Catholic, wants a big family. She likes to. She has a lot of interesting habits. She likes books and games. She likes to travel a lot, and we chatted for a bit, and we actually had a lot in common. We had a lot. We were chatting for a bit. We had a lot of fun together. We got on actually a video call. Actually, so that was pretty cool. We got to see each other face to face. That was really nice. And before all that, I actually asked her out on a date after we chatted a bit, and she said yes. But we have not gone on our date yet for two reasons. The first reason is because when we first met, she was actually studying for a big exam for work. She works at an insurance company, and so she needs to take this test to keep her job. That I think is this Saturday actually. So she's been studying for the last week and a half. So we wanted to wait until she was finished with that testing part essentially. And then the second reason is that we're pretty far apart. You see, I live in Connecticut, but she lives in Ohio.
Only
So
in Ohio, bro.
it's good. Yeah. So basically my plan is well, once this testing thing is done, I want to wait for that first. But once it's done, I'm just gonna plan a trip to fly over, see her, take her on a couple dates, because I'm planning to take about a week. And so, yeah, we'll just go there, we'll hang out, do some fun. Not hang out, we're gonna go on dates, of course. And to meet each other, hopefully take it from there. I mean, again, I asked her on a date and she said yes. That doesn't happen super often. It's kind of funny though, because I remember conversing with my dad when I was very, very young, and he's like, when it comes to dating, You're gonna get 1,000 no's before you get a yes. And because of the fact that she agreed on a date with me, I owe her at least one date. And so as long
Yeah.
as I can do that, I'll settle it there. If it becomes something more, we'll have to wait and see. But I want to do at least one.
Well,
I owe
good
her
for you,
that.
man. Good for you.
Kidding.
You
But
know,
yeah, that's
oh, this reminds me. I tried looking up Cuffed on, I tried to look up the Cuffed dating app. I couldn't find it on the Play Store, dude.
really. I know they said I think it was in the beta testing. I don't know if they like fully launched the app or not. Because last
Oh,
I heard they were doing some
yeah.
testing in New York, but I don't know if it's iOS exclusive or things like. I hope not because that'd be a real shame. But it had a lot of potential. I've been seeing stuff on their Instagram of like these old couples. Though oddly enough, a lot of the couples they're highlighting were people who met before dating apps were a thing. So I don't
That's kind
know.
of
That's
strange.
that is kind of weird. Like, I don't know. It's a sweet little love story. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. That's like the right way to promote a
It's not. It's not the right
yeah.
way. And it makes me wonder if Cuffed might be a, scam of some sort.
I'm not so sure because the guy who runs it was actually the guy was like the one student who spoke in favor of firearms at like the Parkland event, and this has sort of become a passion project of his. So I highly doubt that like he doesn't come out as the kind of person to just screw people over like that. Like he's a bit goofy on Twitter. He likes to make jokes and stuff, but like he doesn't come across the kind of person who would do something like that. So I would be really
Okay.
shocked if like
I
it
know
was
less about the people making this than you do. So I just hear conservative dating app and I'm like, this is either going to be either going to be incredibly niche or someone's just like using it to make money. Cuz I am a
yeah.
fucking cynic through and through when it comes to dating apps and dating in general. I will not deny that.
Hmm. No, I
Um
think it's pretty good.
yeah, you know, it's kind of funny. There was this one girl I was thinking about dating for a while. I think you know who she is. We're just good friends now. We were talking on Friday evening after I got done with the Silent Hill stream with Rinny, and I learned that she actually has jealousy issues in spite of being polyamorous. So if someone were to say flirt with the guys she's dating, she'd get jealous. And I'm like, you know, maybe it's for the best that things didn't work out between us. That level of hypocrisy just makes me mad and sickened. It's like I probably couldn't be in a long-term relationship with somebody like that.
So you're telling me she likes to sleep around with a ton of people at the same time, but like if somebody else flirts with her partner, she gets mad? That doesn't make any
Exactly.
sense. It
Exactly.
that bothers me. That does not make any sense.
Rini also reached out to me on yesterday evening, and she found out that she has borderline personality disorder. I'm hoping she can get the help she needs. She said this is a good thing because now she at least knows why she does the things she does. And it's like I don't know if borderline and bipolar are the same thing. I remember hearing from my mom that they tend to go hand in hand, at least in women. And so, you know, I want nothing but the best for Rinny. I hope she gets the help she needs there. It's never fun to be suffering from a mental illness.
Oh, definitely.
Did you know that suffering from a mental illness actually reduces your lifespan expectancy by several decades, regardless of the severity?
Huh, I was not aware of that. Are we talking about like mental disorders that you're born with, or something you develop over time?
Either or.
Fascinating. I was not aware of that.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact statistic. I read a lot of like oh god, what's the term? Scientific journals in my when I was a kid and a teenager, because I find that kind of stuff fascinating. I haven't really I'm not as big into scientific journals anymore now though. I don't know. I guess I just got old. I lost my fascination for it.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe I'll come back one day and just a random spark of imagination. That's kind of what happened. That happens to me sometimes. Where I'll be interested in something, I'll stop for a bit, and then it just comes right back.
Yeah, that's something similar happened with me and Pirates. I recently got big. I recently got big into Sid Meier's Pirates again. I know I told you about that on a previous episode, and then I've been absolutely fucking addicted to the Pirates of the Caribbean MMO. I have been playing that a ton in my free time. I am like level 35 in that game, and I haven't done any of the story, and I think I've done like maybe a handful of quests. I think I've done like 8 quests total. I've just been sailing across the ocean, sinking everything I see.
Hmm.
There's just something incredibly satisfying about being on the open ocean and just blowing shit away with a big fuck off cannon.
Hmm.
But then I also found this cool YouTube channel called Golden Gunpowder where they do like a historical analysis of various parts of how pop culture portrays pirates. So that's a cool thing to watch. I've been binging those videos too.
Yeah, actually, you know what I've been bitching recently? Playthroughs of an old PS2 game called Namco Cross Capcom.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that in was it last week's To Be Continued episode?
Yeah, I was there because um, so basically, for those who don't know, I was a huge fan of the Project Crossover series of games on the 3DS, and before that, the guys who made those games made another title called Namco Cross Capcom on the PS2, and this was back when the company was owned by Namco directly before they became Bandai Namco, before they were sold to Nintendo. They were actually Namco Studio, and they made that title, and I found a playthrough of it, and I've been watching that, and it is pretty similar to Project Cross Zone in how it plays. There are a couple of key differences. One of the biggest differences is that you can actually play as the solo units. In the Project Crosszone series, solo units are basically assist characters that you pop in to do a couple special attacks. Whereas in Namco Cross Capcom, you can play as the solo ones, and they function pretty much the same as the pair units. Also, the way the attacks structure a bit differently because in Namco Cross Capcom, each button does a different attack, like a singular attack, with one or either character in the pairs, or if it's solo unit, all the attacks. In Project Cross Zone, there's still the 5 attack buttons, but each one actually does a series of attacks that happens in like a string combo, and you just sort of pair it off that way. Also, with the Namco Cross Capcom, there's 2 different versions. There's a close-up moveset and a ranged moveset, whereas in Project Cross, so it's just the same thing regardless of distance.
Dang, that sounds complicated.
It is, but once you play, you get the gist of it. It's one of those games where, like, unless you care about the characters involved in the story, you're probably not gonna like it. But again,
Oh, okay.
yeah, because it does get it's kind of stale after a while. Like, with those games, I kept playing it because I like the story and I like the characters. That's what kept me going, really. If it hadn't been for that, I probably would have dropped it way sooner. Oh, by the way, am I going on stream? I
Uh,
probably should mention it earlier.
what do you mean? Are you going on stream?
No, I said, am I echoing?
No,
Like, is
you're
my
good.
voice? Okay, cool.
Yeah. Um. Oh, speaking of Capcom, another game that I recently discovered. Are you familiar with Mega Man X Dive?
I've heard of it. That's the mobile title, right?
Yeah, it got a PC port and it has like an offline variant. I think it's like 15 bucks or 25 bucks, something like that.
Is it
Uh,
on Steam?
yeah, it's on Steam. I've I've been hearing nothing but bad things about it, but I started playing it last Saturday and I'm like, I don't know what you people are smoking. This game's fun. It's been such a long time since I've had fun with a mobile game. The most
You know
recent
what's
fun mobile game I can think of was Doctor Who Legacy, and that was basically bejeweled with combat elements.
uh actually, you know what? Oh, hang on. Sorry there. You know what's interesting? This game actually was originally Japan exclusive for the longest time. It actually came out in Japan back in, I think, 2014 or 2015. It's a pretty old title, but I think it just recently got localized.
Oh wow! So the Capcom the crossover thing only got recently localized.
No, I'm talking about the Mega Man title.
Oh, X Dive. Okay.
No, the Project Crossover game. So the first one came out in 2012 in Japan, 2013 for the rest of the world. The second game came out in 2015 in Japan and 2016 for the rest of the world.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they're 3DS titles, so they're pretty
Yeah,
not
cause
like terribly old, but they're older in comparison.
Yeah, because I was gonna say I thought that the Capcom crossover had been around for a while.
Yeah,
Um,
Namco Cross Capcom came out all the way back to 2005. That's a really old game.
but yeah, X Dive being old, I did not know about that part. Cause yeah, my first. You want to know what's really funny though? My first exposure to X Dive was the unique armor for Mega Man EXE called Dive Cross, and it is my freaking mission to unlock that in X Dive right now. Or you know, I don't know if I'll be playing X. Actually, you know what? I probably could play X Dive on my handheld. That thing runs Android games as well as emulators.
Oh, neat. Hey, you know, it just occurred to me. Don't we usually do something Halloween themed for these streams? I know we've been doing it the past month. I just
Yeah,
realized.
yeah. This was gonna be a Halloween Halloween costume tier list thing, but I have been completely caught off guard by this weekend. Saturday, the original plan was Saturday. I spend some of my day taking notes after listening to Alive in the Spirit, and then I go and make our tier list for the Halloween costumes. But it turns out that like I did not expect to get that handheld in on Thursday. I spent all Friday. I didn't really have the chance to mess around with it. Or no, Friday I spent like backing up all the old files from the old handheld so that I could move them over to my new one. And then yesterday I spent the day setting everything up essentially. Because the one drawback about these retro emulation handhelds is that your first day or so of having one, you got to set up, you got to spend all your time configuring all the emulators you want set up and transferring the data into them essentially.
Man, that kind of sounds like a bit of a pain to set up.
It is, but I mean, it's I look at it as a investment. You're paying your time into this device so that way you have the convenience of having your entire gaming library on one device that you can take anywhere and play
All right,
on the fly after the initial setup is done.
all right, neat, neat. Okay, I get it now. I just spent my Saturday playing Spider-Man 2. I actually beat Spider-Man 2 story mode
Oh,
yesterday.
which version of Spider-Man 2 were you playing?
The latest one?
Oh, the Sony one. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why. I actually went and downloaded some GameCube ROMs because I can finally emulate those on this handheld. And I noticed that they had Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 on there, and I almost downloaded them.
What stopped you?
I couldn't remember which one was the shitty one with that cutscene that became a meme back in like 2016.
Dude, that's Spider-Man 3. That didn't come out of the game. That never came to the GameCube.
Oh, oh, right. Right.
How do you get those mixed up?
Because it looks like a PS1 cutscene. It honestly does. It's so
I know, but I'm
bad.
telling you, my dude, that was PS3, my dude. PS3 360.
I still can't believe it.
Well, in the developers' defense, they only had like less than a year to make that game, and it was their first 7th-gen title, so they had almost no experience with the hardware or anything like that.
Good grief. You know, back
Yeah,
when I was a kid, we had this Spider-Man CD game, and it was basically an activity center. It wasn't really a game. It was like a bunch of mini games. And I just remember doing the chemistry segment just non-stop because that was the only thing in it that was interesting.
Hmm.
Do you have vague memories of like licensed CD games that you played as a kid, Rick?
Vaguely. I think my younger sister had one for Dora, but that's about it. I had to get the PC version of like the 2004 Spider-Man 2, but that game was a major downgrade compared to its console counterpart. I'm surprised they didn't just port the console version to PC.
Yeah. Oh, you know what's another licensed CD game that I played as a kid? And this one had no right to be as good as it was. The Treasure Planet promotional CD games. Do you I'm trying to remember, when were you born, Rick?
98.
Okay, so you're only 4 years younger than me. So you might have been you might have been too young to remember this because I think Treasure Planet came out in like what 2002.
What was Treasure Planet again?
It was the Disney adaptation of Treasure Island, but in a sci-fi setting.
Oh, that movie. Okay, now I remember. I
Yeah,
knew the movie. I know about the tie-in games.
yeah, I was right. It came out in 2002. So you would have been 4 when this thing came out. So you probably were a bit too young to be playing the computer games then. I remember having these Treasure Planet CDs that we got in the fucking McDonald's Happy Meals of all things. Yeah. And those were way better than they had any right to be. You had one game that was racing different types of ships from the movie. You had one game that was basically like an arcade game where you were having to walk through the ship and collect treasure chests filled with coins and avoid barrels or other projectiles. It was like an arcade platformer. I'm trying to remember the other games because I think there was like 5. You collected the 4 discs and you unlocked the 5th disc once you had like all of them installed together. And it was one of the few times where we got all of the all 4 of the promotional things. We didn't like the Happy Meal things. We didn't get any repeats. We didn't go to McDonald's very often because we didn't have Mom did not have a lot of money. I honestly, part of me wonders how she made ends meet. I respect the absolute hell out of my mother for making that shoestring budget work as well as it did. But oh god, what were the other like 2 or 3 games? That's gonna bug me now. But yeah, no, because of and then there was like I also remember playing a lot of Flash games around that time too. I remember that Oreos had a freaking promotional Flash game, believe it or not. You ever play the video game Lemmings?
I've heard of it, but I've not played it.
Okay. It was basically that. Because Lemmings, you have these dudes that you don't control. You build the stage around them, so you had to interact with the stage for the little dudes to get to the goal at the end. And that was
yes.
yeah, and that's basically what the Oreos one was. But I'd never played Lemmings, so I just knew it as the Oreo game where you interact with the stage. Fucking M&M's Minis had an entire ARG and Flash game series associated with it. Flash games were just something else, man. Did you know that Wario Land 4 had its own website to promote the game, and it had like a few like 1 or 2 Flash games built into it?
Oh, really? I think Nintendo made Flash games.
Yeah, I don't know if Nintendo made the site. It is on the Wayback Machine, though. Let me see if I can pull it up, because I still remember the name of that site.
Which Wario Land game was this for?
4. Shit. Okay, so I'm not crazy. Other people on the internet remember this thing, but yeah, it's like I found one thread on Reddit. Wait a minute.
Yeah, I couldn't find it either. All I found was like some porn parody site. That doesn't even work.
Whoa. Okay. Oh, hold on.
I just know that because the URL link kind of gave it away. I'm like, oh.
Son of a bitch.
What? What
Somebody on the Reddit thread found a fucking comic from the website. I don't remember the comic.
There was a comic?
Yeah, and now I get an error, the site can't be reached. Oh, you know what? I wonder if I throw this in the Wayback Machine, maybe then it'll work.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, and one other interesting thing that happened. Oh, we got a live one!
Woo! Let's go! Would you mind sharing it?
Yeah. Let me click the link.
Don't forget to share your screen on Discord.
Yeah. Screen one.
And of course for our lovely viewers as well, we can't leave them out.
Of course not. Let me just get up this display capture going on. So yeah, this is the comic that was on the website. It's Mario vs. Wario.
I think I remember this comic actually.
Yeah, I think this came out to
from
promote Mario Land 2.
Yes.
I think this was also on the Wario Land 4 website though.
Really?
I'm not 100% because on Reddit, I got this off of Reddit where they were talking about the Wario Land 4 website. And unfortunately the Wario Land 4 website wasn't able to be found. But we did find this. What annoys me though is like I remembered this website offhand in like 2020, peak quarantine with just fuck all to do, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go revisit this website from my childhood. Obviously the site itself was down. Then I tried the Wayback Machine and it was there then. The Nintendo Ninjas might have hit Wayback Machine and had them take it down.
Maybe. No Nintendo, that could be possible.
Yeah. Oh, and then there's a Pokemon ROM hack that I have gotten big into. Somebody remade Pokemon Crystal on Game Boy Advance engine.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wait, hang on. One question. Is this the real Crystal or is this Vietnamese Crystal?
Oh, it's the real Crystal. Although, playing a remake of Vietnamese Crystal on Gen 3 would be incredibly fucking surreal. I am fucking elf monster.
This is Elf's World.
A wild corn appeared. It's just a Venonat. But yeah, no. Crystal Dust is the Gen 3 remake of Pokemon Crystal, and they are adamant about not adding any extra mons from like gens past 3, or for that matter, you have to trade to get trade evolutions or the regional starters. I'm sorry, but what? Why? How? How do you expect me to trade? You buffoon.
Yeah, this is not 2004, and I was walking with their link cables showing the trade Pokemon.
Exactly. As cool as that would be. Honestly, if the technology from the early 2000s, like, came back due to retro appeal, I would be all for it. Because 2000s aesthetic, like, Frutiger Arrow and Y2K are just incredible styles, and I think it'd be cool to see it. It's definitely an improvement over what we have now, where everything's flat and textureless.
Also, probably get people to go outside more instead of just staying in their houses all day.
Right. Well, I mean, it's hard to get me to leave my house, but that's because I live in a desert. I'm kind of an outlier there.
Yeah, I just live in a small, quiet American town.
Honestly, the more I think about it, the more I feel like I'm Obi-Wan Kenobi. Because I don't go outside much, I don't have any friends, I live in the middle of a big fuck-off desert where it's too fucking hot, and I'm a political dissident. Yeah, I'm fucking Obi-Wan. Fuck it. I'm slowly turning into an old man.
Well, at least you didn't have to cut down your Padawan after years of friendship.
That's true. That's true. At least last time I checked, I hadn't cut Sam in half with a laser katana. I don't know though.
Well, at least you two are on speaking terms.
That's true. Oh man, we've been at this for an hour already?
I know, right? That was quick.
Yeah. I've kind of run out of stuff to talk about now. What about you?
You know what? It's definitely getting there. It is nice to just actually, since it's Halloween, um, I think it'd be really cool if we did something for Halloween. I know you want to do a karaoke stream, but it looks like our other friends are not available. So how about you and I do something, just the two of us, for Halloween?
Alright, what'd you have in mind?
Soul Calibur 6.
Alright, we could do
We
that for Halloween night.
we haven't done that game in so long. What was the last time we played? I think it was in July, right?
We've had two Soul Calibur streams. The first was on the 4th of July. The second was on August or September. One of the two. So yeah, we can do another Soul Calibur stream for sure.
Yeah, we get to wear all the fancy costumes and stuff. It'll be a blast.
Yeah. I'm probably still gonna... I don't know if I'm gonna do any more Halloween games for the stream. Me and Rini are gonna finish up Silent Hill 3 Friday of of this coming week. Um, well, on the 3rd. We're gonna finish Silent Hill 3 on the 3rd. I did not plan that, that's just how it went. And, maybe I'll do Castlevania Aria of Sorrow, or maybe I'll do, maybe I'll get back to the pre-Halloween stuff. I had hoped to play more Halloween games this Halloween, but the time just did not allow it.
Yeah, I feel you there. It happens. Who knows? Maybe next year when you aren't as busy, we can get some more stuff going.
Yeah. And once the first rolls around, I don't have to do the kennels anymore, because I'm paying rent again.
All right.
So I'll have another... my schedule will be just a little bit less tight. I don't know how much an hour... I don't know how much an hour's difference will make, but it's like I think it'll reduce the stress considerably, because just the amount of noise that comes with doing that job, it really winds me up and pisses me off. But yeah, no, apparently Mom is planning to take over cleaning the dog room herself.
Oh, is that a good or a bad?
That's a good thing. They're her animals, after all.
Okay, fair. But would she be able to do it though?
I think so. I don't think she would have that many animals if she couldn't take care of all of them.
Fair.
And you know
Plus
what?
not.
And here's the thing. Sorry about that, everyone. OBS crashed. We're kind of wrapping it up as we are now, but it seemed a bit abrupt to just leave y'all with that.
Yeah, let's go back just to offer some closing thoughts and give it a proper finish, and then we can leave. Maybe have some final thoughts, because I think it's wrong to leave after that. That seems like a pretty shitty way to end the stream.
Yeah, it's like Sopranos where they cut to black mid-sentence.
You son of a... Credits.
Yeah.
Hello, are we live?
Yeah, we're live. We're live right now.
Hey everyone, apologies for the delay. We had some technical problems at the last minute, but we're here.
Yeah, they know. We've been live for like about 46 seconds, 47 seconds.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I think we just want apologies. We are not unlike the Sopranos. We are not gonna leave you mid-sentence like that. That'd be very rude.
Yeah, right.
Alright, but we'll leave you with this. We'll probably have a stream for Halloween, possibly SoCal, so keep an eye out for that. Aside from that, I'm sure Seth has some other awesome stuff planned this week, aside from Silent Hill. And, but yeah, that's pretty much it from us.
Since it's the last week of October, I'm gonna try to get us... I'm gonna try and get us playing, Castlevania Aria of Sorrow on New Game Plus. I'm just gonna import my old save so we don't have to worry about the soul collecting and all that nonsense. So it's a pseudo speedrun. The plan is to try and beat it in a week's time, which I probably can.
Alright, it'll be interesting to see that.
Yeah. thank you all for tuning in. Why don't we find someone to raid?
Yeah, let's go. Raid time.
And our raid message is going to be OBS will crash. Find copper ingots. Alright, who is live right now? We got Weast, we got Call Me Carson, Vine Sauce. Oh, Zoe and Beans! She's playing Amnesia the Bunker. That's one that I should have that I picked up recently. That'll probably be another Halloween for another year.
Yep. We still have time, folks.
There we go.